My name is John Ryman, and I'm the former recording secretary of Carpenters Local 713 down here in Hayward, California. I'm also a retired carpenter. I just got done watching a rally of carpenters up in Seattle trying to organize to vote down a cheap-ass contract for the third time. And it's really inspiring. Sisters and brothers, in 1999, some 2,000 carpenters down here in the San Francisco Bay Area staged a Wildcat Strike against this same sort of contract. Well, we weren't able to stop that contract, but one thing we did do is we won back the right to vote on contracts for all rank and file carpenters right throughout the union. So in that sense, we and all carpenters benefited from that struggle. Now, I was listening to the talk about what you want, $21 over 3 years. And first of all, you always start with the maximum, because chances are you're going to end up with less than that. And don't forget, at least down here, the gap between the carpenters and the mechanical trades has been growing and growing and growing for years, and it's time to start to close that gap at least a little bit. Now, they're going to tell you that they're going to go broke if they have to pay that amount of money. Well, that's the argument they've been using for over 150 years. Back at that time, our union led the way for the 8-hour day with no loss in pay. And they said that every company in the country would go broke if they had to grant that. That didn't happen. They're also going to tell you that you're being greedy. But we all need that kind of raise, whether you're pulling wire, banging nails, or flipping burgers. So what you're fighting for is to set a standard for everybody, for all workers. And the future generations will stand on the shoulders of what you're doing there, here and now. Just like we're standing on the shoulders of those who came before us. I myself am living off a pension won by a 6-week strike of carpenters back in the 1950s. And I worked with members who lost their homes during that strike. What you're fighting for is not just this one contract. It's against the whole idea of our entire leadership that you have to take cuts in real pay, in your living standards, in order to help the union contractors compete with the non-union contractors. Well, in reality, what that means is that we have to compete with the non-union carpenters for who can work cheapest. If that's the case, then what's the purpose in even having a union? Anybody that's been around for any amount of time can tell you that that whole approach is a disastrous failure. That the non-union is growing by leaps and bounds in good years and in bad. And it wouldn't be so bad if the leadership were taking the same kinds of cuts that we, the working carpenters and the retirees are, but they're not. While we, the working and retired carpenters, are taking cuts, they're cutting a fat hog with their double pensions and all kinds of bennies and perks. So anything you can do to win a better contract, I say more power to you. Now, I hope it's not out of place for me to make a couple of suggestions. First of all, I saw on the Facebook page some ideas about a Wildcat Strike. And of course, you're the only ones who can really tell if that's possible or not. But I want to ask, would it be possible to organize a rally like this at noon on a workday? Second, nobody can know if you're going to win this particular battle. All we do know is that if you don't fight, you're guaranteed to lose it. But this is only one battle in a wider war. The contractors and their representatives inside the union, which are the ones who are pushing this cheap-ass contract, they're organized. And one thing we saw during our Wildcat Strike down here in 1999 is that we have to organize. We organized a caucus, Working Carpenters for a Stronger Union. We worked to understand what the contractors and our leadership were up to. We planned our strategy. We planned for our union meetings and union elections. And one thing we made sure of, we saw that the entire full-time staff was dedicated to pushing that pro-contractor line. They had to be, or else they wouldn't even have applied for those jobs or kept their jobs. So in our caucus, the Working Carpenters for a Stronger Union, we had one clear rule. Nobody could be in our caucus or come to our meetings who worked for the council or applied for a job with the council. In conclusion, I want to thank you again for your struggle. But more important, the future generations will owe you a debt. No such battle is truly lost. If there's anything I can do down here as an old-timer to help you, please let me know. And remember, nothing comes without a struggle, but it's worth it. No pain, no gain. Organize, organize, organize.